All please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can I get a roll call?
Mr. Cook?
Here.
Mr. D'Andriano?
Here.
Mr. Rogan?
Here.
Ms. Smith? Here. Mr. Williams?
Here. Who tonight is auditing the bills?
I'd like to make a motion to approve abstract number 1 dated January 14, 2022, in the amount of $491,659.43. So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Would you like to do the budget transfers?
Yeah, sure. No.
Happy to
Yes,
help
we
out.
have a number here. We have some from 2021, which we will do. First, the following budget transfer request to allocate funds for the records management contractual account for additional storage costs from town clerk training expense accounts, $67, to records management contractual expense accounts, $67. I'll go through these or we'll approve them all at one time. Budget transfer request number 40, reallocate funds for the Justice Court Building contractual account for lighting repair costs from Justice Court Building Personnel Services, $1,000, to Justice Building contractual expense account, $1,000. Number 41, allocate funds for the highway contractual accounts for additional costs from machinery contractual usage, $4,000, to machinery contractual, $3,000, miscellaneous contractual expense account, $1,000. Transfer request number 42. Reallocate funds for the sanitation contractual and transfer charge accounts from sanitation equipment and capital outlay, $1,000. Employee benefits, hospital and medical insurance expense accounts, $11,121. To sanitation contractual, $1,000, and sanitation contractual transfer charges expense account, $11,121. Next, we have request number 43, reallocate funds for the sewage treatment disposable contractual operations account for emergency costs from sewage treatment disposable equipment and capital outlay expense accounts, $6,744, to sewage treatment disposal contractual operations expense account, $6,744. Next, we have reallocate funds for the water admin contractual account, moving from water admin equipment and capital outlay expense accounts, $2,500, to water admin contractual expense accounts, $2,500. And next we have request number 45, and that's to necessary to allocate additional funds to the Dorset Hollow Water Admin contractual account. Going to increase appropriated fund balance account $2,500, and then we can increase water administration contractual expense accounts $2,500. Well, first I'll make a motion that we town board approve those requests that I have just read. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Next, we have budget transfer requests for this year, number 1, and that's to increase appropriated fund balance account $19,460 and increase water admin equipment and capital outlay expense accounts $19,460. And the second one is allocate 2021 funds to the machinery equipment account. So we're increasing the appropriated fund balance account of $38,907.60. We're increasing the machinery equipment and capital outlay expense accounts and $38,907.60. So I'll make a motion for town board approve 2022 request number 1 and number 2. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, you're up.
Yep. The first item on my agenda is recreation requests. We have only one this week for the Town of Patterson Recreation Department from Mr. Matt Trevorrow is looking to purchase 200 flag football performance shirts with the logo on the front. He's reached out to Extreme Designs and Custom Inks. Extreme Design is the lowest bidder for the 200 shirts. I'd like to make a motion to approve $1,780 for the 200 flag football performance jerseys. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. The second item is a resolution to appoint the delegate to the Association of Towns annual meeting. The town of Patterson is a member of the Association of the Towns, and in connection with said membership may designate a delegate to represent the towns at the Association of Towns annual meeting. The town board of the town of Patterson wishes to designate Miss Mary Delanoy as the town of Patterson delegate for the 2022 annual meeting of the Association of Towns. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution to appoint Miss Delanoy and enter the minutes into the record as though read. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is that live this year? The Association of Towns, the meeting?
It's virtual.
Oh,
No,
it's
I
virtual?
think it's down in,
In the city, I think it's in the city.
it's
It
in the
usually-
city.
It
Yeah.
usually is. I was
Yeah,
just curious
I
if
think
they
so.
they were
I think it's
holding it live in
Yeah.
person. Okay, that's good. Nice. No, Mary always goes.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
does.
Peter,
Okay, first on my agenda is the Civic Plus proposal. So last meeting during our executive session, I brought up everything I was doing with the website. So for Mary's benefits, you weren't at the last meeting. So last year, as you know, I volunteered to look and try to look and see how we can update our website and make it better. So so the last few months, I talked to different towns. I talked to different companies everywhere. I investigated different companies everywhere, from a company that will build our website from the ground up and, do all kinds of stuff that would cost a lot of money, to, hiring someone local, a kid, and, to do like a GoDaddy account or something, to, something really cheap. But so I found a lot of stuff in the middle. So a lot of the towns that I talked to fell into these companies in the middle. So there was one company that I really liked, and I've been talking a lot with. I was talking a lot with them, getting a lot more information, which is Civic Plus. They only do municipal websites, so that's one thing I liked about it, and what we talked about it. So I presented all that information the last meeting during the executive session. So we decided to do a meeting with the town board. So you were in that meeting, so you're caught up. So we did meet with Becky White from Civic Plus, and she went over a lot of the stuff that I went over, but even in more detail and better than I could have done it. So some of the things, so we looked at Civic Plus. So the first thing I think is this something we even want to do? Or are we looking to revamp our website and spend a little bit of money on it? If not, then we might as well just continue, just move on. If it is something we want to do, then we could, if it's something if we want to look into this company. There was a couple options that she gave us, and we were going to make a decision on what option we wanted, and then they would send an official proposal, because she only gave us kind of like a draft estimate on what the different packages would cost. So if we were looking to do it, we would kind of tell her which package or what direction we want to go, and then they can give us an official proposal. So what's the town's board's pleasure? Do you think we want to go forward with revamping our website?
Waiting for you to.
So
Come
I'll
on,
start
jump in.
off, I'll start in, listen, I think we need to revamp the website, I think we need to improve functionality, we need to get, the ability up online for, our residents to be able to pay for permits online. This website would do it, I think it would, refresh everything we've been doing. The Question is how we're gonna pay for it. Right now, I'm still working on numbers with Trish. It's definitely coming out of fund balance or savings account if we're gonna do something like this. The ongoing maintenance, we already budget a similar amount every year anyway, so that wouldn't be a big hit. So, I certainly would like to move forward with this. I haven't had a chance to delve in deep enough to know whether, I think we could, be well served by the cheaper alternatives, or we need to look at, the more expensive options. But I certainly think we should be moving forward. And Pete, I appreciate all the work you've done on this, so, to get us here.
I think it was the time spent on the Zoom call with the representative from Civic Plus was really good for her to be able to show different options of comparing our website with other websites and how our customers access our information, whether that information is readily available, whether it's user friendly. And I think respectively, I think there were certainly some gaps in things we can improve with our website. So again, I also, Pete, as you know, appreciate obviously the work you put into this is awesome. And just being able to put us together to be able to have someone to be able to walk us through what the options are. So I'm also obviously supportive of moving forward. I mean, I think it's not something that's going to happen overnight, but in the long run, I think it's a step in the right direction. So I'm obviously supportive. Thank you.
I support it 100%, and I also like the fact that we can do the annual billing. We won't get hit with the one fee. We could break it down into the 4 years, and the numbers will probably work out close to what we're already budgeting anyway. And I think that if we didn't take the opportunity, it would be a disservice to the whole town hall and the community.
So my suggestion, so there's basically two packages, and then there's other stuff. My suggestion would be go with this is something we're probably not going to do for a long time. I mean, the last website was developed 10 years ago.
Long time.
So hopefully we don't have to do this again. And I think if we start and we do it right the first time, and and then there's other options, and I think it was 4 years. Yeah, I think was that 4 years? There's another option. We pay a little bit more. Where in 4 years, we already have it paid to redesign it.
Mhm.
So in 4 years, I'm sure we're gonna be looking at stuff and say, hey, we should have done this, or we'd like to tweak this. We should have added this, and that would be already paid for if if we put that option. So I like the premium. Again, I think we should do it right if we're gonna do it.
Right.
Do it right now instead of a couple of years later saying we should have, why we settle for the cheap version, and just to cut a few grand. So that's just my suggestion. So I don't know, we did tell her that we'd give her an answer as to if we were going to go forward, what direction, what package we would go to, so they can make the proposal up, and then we can go as far as pricing and stuff from there.
Also, Pete, I liked the idea that other boards would, like we have park districts that have web pages, and there would be some more uniformity with using the system, with designing those, that, it would be, you would realize it's one town. It's not all these different themed and different design websites that I think there would be more uniformity in the way, again, the way people access
I
information. So
believe she also said that the other departments, like the fire department, if they wanted to, would be linked to us, but of course at their own subscription. And the library would be able to be linked with us so that if you visited the one site, you'd be able to visit all three or.
We do that now. So there's no real change in that. It is a good feature,
Mhm.
no doubt. One of the things I do want to caution everybody about, the two proposals, but there are, as Pete pointed out, there are additional items. For example, the headers. Headers were extra. If we wanted to, say, give the Putnam Lake Park District their own header, Veterans Park their own header, which I think we do. So there's going to be some additional, charges which are not factored in the two prices that we have here, which are, again, just, their initial guesstimate.
Mhm.
So, and one of the things that we had talked about was the minutes. We need to decide, how many minutes we, want on the website. It's really nice now. You can go back and search the minutes going back to 2002 on all the boards, but, there was a cost for doing that.
So Charlie, for your information, pretty much the main difference between the premium and the standard is the standard is they give you like they just have like 5 different templates, the 5 different options of how it's going to look. The premium is more custom. So if you want certain buttons here or, pictures here or the way it laid out and more customized, that's pretty much the difference. That's the main difference between the packages. I don't know if we can, maybe start with the standard and then maybe a few years down the road, if we feel we need to.
Well, that's a very good question. Can we start with the standard and then say in the 4 years, switch over to the premium? Is that an issue?
An issue with being able to do it or an issue?
Yeah, I mean, what would the implications be? Would they just automatically, switch us over to the premium and the cost would go up for the next 4 years? Or would they be starting from scratch? So we're
Do you
gonna,
remember what?
so I'm
She
assuming,
didn't- I don't think we
we're
asked that.
gonna go with the proposal, which is going to pay now for refreshing the website in 4 years. Right? So we get to the 4-year mark, we've got a standard website, but we've decided we want to go to a premium website, right? Will that be covered in the cost? And then we're just going to get, build a little bit more for the, for the premium,
Mhm.
or are we basically starting from scratch? Is there a cost savings?
But the difference, right, is $6,000. To start off with. So if we're gonna have to find money, we should try maybe to find the premium. Right, that's the difference.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I'm fine with going with the standard. I just, if we had the money, I'd like to go with the premium, but,
I mean, the
let's,
following years are the same.
let's leave the money to Trish and I, as far as working out. Let's get the board in a position where we know exactly what we want, whether it's the standard or the premium. As I said, I don't know the exact difference between the standard and the premium, even though I've, gone through some of the information. Will the premium web page make that much more of a statement? I don't know. I've got to still see. I don't disagree with you, though. I wouldn't mind going with the premium. If we're going to do it right, do it the first time. But then we have some, other things to talk about, like, are we going to allow certain departments to have their own special header? And which departments? Minutes. What are the other incremental costs that we're going to be looking at outside of this? And we're going to, maybe we want to sit down and have a work session and, kick that around about, who's going to have what access, what control.
Yeah, I'd like to table it and where we can all sit down and have a work session and kick it around and once you crunch some numbers and
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think we need to see the numbers. So
yeah.
if we're gonna bring in, so what are we paying over at the rec center? And if we're gonna, this is gonna be all together, it might pay.
Rec centers, we haven't talked about incorporating the rec center into this or coming up with a rec module. This is just for us. We would just link in with my rec.
Mhm.
Yeah, they would just, when, instead of, when you're going through the different departments, if you click on the recreation, it would take the person to the my rec, their own website, which
So
they already have
we're-
set up.
If we're already have a website for the Veterans Park,
We have a page for the,
a page,
Yeah.
so are we paying for a page
no, we're paying for our website, which includes a
which
page for
has a
Veterans
page
Park.
there? Okay.
So,
We also have to think about who's gonna be going forward with all this, who's gonna be
in
working
charge.
with the company and
Yep.
getting things set up. Some companies, some towns, I talked to some towns, they actually have a designated person. So some of them even pay somebody or they give them a stipend to run the website because it is a lot of work, depending on how we set it up. We talked about, you can have department heads do certain things. You can still have controls over it. So if the town clerk wanted to post something and on her change something on her website or put something in the calendar, her or her designee could do that. Or we could even have it where they would have to send it for approval first. They could set it up, but it would have to be just approved and clicked, however we want to set that up. But, there is stuff that needs to be updated and controlled and maintained. So we need somebody to,
I would imagine part of that is looking at the information you have on your existing website and saying, okay, what percentage of this or what portion do we want to transfer? Do we want it to look differently, sound differently? Just making it look different isn't enough. It's making sure the information is what we want it to, the story we want to tell, correct?
yeah. All right, so we'll,
Well, before we just walk away from this entirely, we committed that somebody's gonna get back to her tomorrow. You want to get back to her tomorrow? You want me to get back to her tomorrow? How would you like to?
if you want to get back to it, that's fine.
All right. I will do that.
All right, next item I have generator repairs. So I just have some estimates. I'm not really sure what this is or what it's for. There was no memo or anything with it, so it's just
Okay, so we did our annual service update contract with Peak Power. Peak Power is our vendor that, we put out for bid. And they came back with a list of repairs. They do this all the time. A lot of times, because we need to have these generators running, we will just move forward on an emergency basis, but with the timing, I could get it onto the town board meeting tonight so we could talk about it before we started going forward. You have a table in front of you? What do you have?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So, essentially the top table is all the repairs that came in. The bottom table is all the repairs without the batteries, because we can very easily change out the batteries as needed. So these are the estimates that I summarized from Peak Power for the repairs that need to be made to the generators. And the generators is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 generators that need some sort of significant repair. I can go into detail if you'd like.
no. So which no, I just didn't know what it was.
Okay.
This is all I got yesterday.
I'm
afternoon,
sorry, we should have talked about it before the meeting.
so. So what are we looking to approve here? Which
This
price?
the lower amount.
The 11,800.
So the difference is just the batteries.
Yeah, basically it's the batteries. Now, once we get into this, I'm gonna, try to get this even lower, because, every one of these repair estimates has travel time. Well, let's start bundling them up.
Oh, of
They
course,
bang
yeah.
us on that, it seems like.
Yeah,
Mhm. So will this 11,877.70 cover everything or?
yes.
shouldn't we let Peak Power handle the batteries as well as all this other work? Or,
I have a real problem with authorizing Peak Power to change a battery out for $700.
okay,
Something Dennis can certainly do.
Yeah, we've got a great shop right here in Patterson. We can go pick the battery up for 100, 125, and it takes 15 minutes to drop it in.
okay.
Paul's good at changing batteries too.
Yeah, he is. We may rely on Paul.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve $11,877.70 for the generator repairs as listed. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. That is all I have for now.
Okay, Charlie.
Next, we have a settlement of a tax certiorari proceedings, and the town assessor has recommended the acceptance and the approval of the proposed settlement. And this involves property at section 36, lot 3, lot 15, and it covers both 2020 and 2021. And it takes the assessments from in 2020 from 1,290,000 to 900,000, and in 2021 from 1,290,000 to 950,000. So since this was negotiated,
When you get to it, before you make a resolution, I just want to say something.
sure, negotiated by an attorney is selected by the town to do this. And as I said earlier, the town assessor recommends these reductions. So.
We just need to add as I was talking with Jamie, as everybody was walking in, one more, be it further resolved to authorize the receiver of taxes and the town controller to effectuate this resolution and to refund the amounts so indicated, subject to the payment of all taxes, and or make such adjustments as necessary.
Maybe I should just second that.
Whatever you want to do.
So if that's the case, I mean, sounds like a good motion to
Well,
me.
you can introduce the resolution.
As read and as commented on by the supervisor. So moved.
We have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have a memo from Recreation Director about increasing a pay rate for 2 of the junior staff members, retroactive to January 1st, 2022, at the pay rate of $11.50 an hour. So I'll make a motion that the town board approve the pay rate for rec staff members John Galley and Kira Usual. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
John?
Okay, next item we have is an application that was made to our town through the planning department for a subdivision for Timothy Hutton at 123 Cushman Road in Patterson. And this is being put before the town board for consideration of a variance from Article 8 of the Town of Patterson subdivision regulations. It relates to the open space overlay zoning district, which requires that when you subdivide property, you take into account various aspects like preserving open space, clustering your development into smaller areas, et cetera. So we have sought and will be getting a formal recommendation on this from the planning board for tonight's purposes. And I should say, this is essentially taking a 41 plus or minus acre lot and dividing off one slightly larger than 4-acre parcel. And so that's the totality of this subdivision. There will be consideration for preserving open space within this that will be handled through the planning board. And so the purpose for tonight is simply to open any discussion on this, but also to set the public hearing on this for Wednesday, February 23rd at 7 p.m. So I'll make a motion. We approve that public hearing. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone have any questions on this?
Do we know the intent of the 4 acres?
Yeah, he's doing a new house for his son.
You know, that this lot has, this backs up to the Wonder Lake property. So it has a lot of connectivity for open space, you know, corridors for wildlife. So just based, I'm sure, just knowing the lay of that land, there's probably a lot of wetlands that are down in the low-lying area where the stream comes down through. So just by default, there'll be a lot of open space, you know, in the future anyway on this lot. You're not gonna be able to do anything with it anyway. So it just is gonna add to the overall open space of the town without taking it off the tax rolls. It'll just be inherited to that lot. So the larger lot.
Mm.
So. Cool. No? Okay. Anything from anyone else on that? Questions, Ray? No? Okay, next item, we were notified by our assessor's office that the town had inadvertently placed a few parcels of property into the Putnam Lake Park District. So what that means essentially is that on the tax bill that these people received every year, they were paying for Park District charges that they should not have been. So they looked to make sure that that is indeed the case, looked at what these parcels have paid, and there's a recommendation to naturally to refund these 4 parcels with previously paid, incorrectly paid charges to the Put Lake Park District for the 2019 through 21 fiscal years. So based on recommendation from the town and from the assessor, I will make a motion that we move forward with refunding the paid taxes to these parcels as contained in documents. You don't want me to say the parcels themselves, do you?
It's up to you. You can say the tax map numbers without getting into
All
detail.
right, so the tax map numbers are 36.56-1-1, 36.56-1-12, 36.57-1-1, and 36.57-1-3. So I will move that the town moves to refund those parcels the appropriate amounts that are due. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay. So I provided the town board with copies of the draft general permit that was recently released by the DEC. This is the 5th or 6th iteration of the MS4 general permit, which places significant obligations on the town of Patterson for addressing stormwater issues. It is a much improved permit over the one that was released in 2017, which would have cost us hundreds of thousands of dollars, but it still imposes a significant number of requirements on the town, which everybody needs to be aware of. If anybody has any comments on this permit, I would ask that you get them back to my office because I intend to make comments back to the DEC. Biggest concern is certainly the financial implications and the implications to the staff. The department that's going to get hit very hard with this happens to be our highway department. Sorry for us. But they're looking for, us to set up. All right, so it starts off, they're going to adopt the permit towards the end of April, and they will give us 30 days to file a new notice of intent to seek coverage under the permit. Having done that, then we are obligated to do a complete reset on our stormwater management program. The new permit requires us to develop staffing plans, which clearly identify the individuals, their roles and responsibilities under the plan. It increases documentation of activities and reports. We have to develop enforcement response plan. There is significant training that goes along with this that we are required to provide. It sets up a program, or it requires us to set up a program to start monitoring certain locations, outfalls, and interconnections from stormwater discharges. It's not exactly clear what we will be monitoring, but I would imagine that will involve us buying some equipment that is not the cheapest in the world so that we can do the testing of the constituents within the stormwater to make sure that they fall under the level of the pollutants that they've identified. It's going to require us to do a site-specific stormwater pollution prevention plan for the highway department. It requires such things as mapping out poor soils with seasonally high water table. I have no idea what that is going to do for stormwater, because it really is focused more on the issue of septic systems. But that really falls under the jurisdiction of the health department, whether the soils are suitable, not the town of Patterson. It's going to require us to do street sweeping twice a year. It's going to require us to do catch basin inspections 3 times a year. It's going to require us to send out all sorts of educational material at least 3 times a year. So significant costs coming down the road for the town of Patterson on the MS4 permit that I think we need to, kind of push back against the state, if for no other reason, to help out with funding the program that they're mandating, i.e. this is just another unfunded mandate coming down the road from the state to the benefit of New York City, because what we're doing here is we are trying to improve the quality of the water to a standard that is drinking water quality, so that the water that's flowing off the surface up here isn't sufficient for supporting the fauna that we have and the flora, the wildlife, but is suitable for New York City's drinking water purposes. It's just wrong.
Given that the concerns you mentioned about the number of staffing hours that may be associated with this, it seems like there's the potential for increasing our workforce, and you would hope that they would respond to that with some kind of funding mechanism, submit sheets showing the work done and have some kind of reimbursement, but that doesn't sound like it's currently the case. Thank you for summarizing it the way you did, because I spent quite a bit of time reading through that, and for more lay people, that's a difficult document to go through. You just summarized it down from 170 pages down to 1, and it was exhaustive.
Yeah, no, it's quite the permit. 50 more pages of regulations than in the last permit. 50 more pages.
And in the past, correct me if I'm wrong, but Patterson had done so well on its MS4 program that we had credits that we over other municipalities and things that we had gotten for the work that we had done. And
Yes.
We had gotten some, was that reimbursement through the East of Hudson Corporation where?
So that's part of the retrofit program under Part 9 of the permit, which deals with the TMDL watershed. It places the heightened requirements on the town of Patterson for addressing, the water quality related to New York City. And in recognition of that, many years ago, it was part of the process to create a regional agency, not agency, but corporation of all the towns in the East of Hudson watershed to deal with that component of the program. We've been very successful about negotiating with New York City to obtain the funding to take that burden off of the municipalities. And Patterson has done very well. We actually put in more retrofits than we were required to do. And as a result, we get those credits you referenced. And we actually get money back for doing that.
Was Shannon involved at all with the preparing the permit, or
Preparing the permit?
did you have to prepare this?
This comes out of DEC.
Okay, so this is all, was she
Shannon,
brought up on it?
so I provided her the permit. Long-term, a lot of this is going to fall on Shannon because I've been, slowly passing that baton of dealing with all the stormwater issues to Shannon. So she's aware of it, yeah. I'm not convinced that she's going to have enough time to do everything that she's gonna have to do now under this permit. And, manage the issues in the planning department, because this permit almost requires, a full-time individual.
Yeah.
To do the monitoring, the inspections, to assist the highway department in some of the issues they're gonna have. One of the big issues just thinking through this that I didn't mention is it's gonna prohibit us from washing our trucks outside. We're gonna have to create a facility to capture all the wash water and treat it.
Could it be outside though, if it had a central collection system or some kind of
Yes.
curbing or?
Yes, but we're gonna have to figure out how to do that. Because you don't want rainwater, stormwater to get in, want just. A drainage system's gonna pick it up and push it into a septic system or some sort of recycling system, because you're gonna overload that. So yes, gonna be outside, yeah, but, I'm not sure how we're gonna do that. Fun time for us. All right,
There goes the website money.
yeah. All right, next on my agenda is just an update for the board. We had talked about this, I believe, at the last meeting. Andy came in. And Councilman Dandriano and myself met with Gail Briscoe and Ken and Andy DiStefano representing the American Legion, Darren Kerry, who's commander of the VFW, Meg Carney, and Scotty. I'm not going to go through this whole memo, but it was a very productive meeting. The essence is that Andy is going to take the lead and work with the VFW to put the program together. And the town's responsibility is going to be to get the flags up and then take care of them moving forward. There's going to be a pretty good cost associated with that for the town to buy the brackets to hang the flags. And it, of course, depends on how many people participate in the program. There's still a lot of details that need to be refined, and we'll bring them back to the board as they go. I did confirm that we do need DOT permits. And we are going to need permits from NYSEG. I've already been in contact with the DOT, got the paperwork started with that. DOT assured me that it's not going to be a really big deal. And they're going to assist us with doing that. They applauded the town of Patterson. We were the only ones that contacted them.
I was gonna say, not surprised.
So I don't know what that means going forward.
You're gonna get a bunch of angry calls from other towns.
Well, it means they're gonna make sure that our power is running when everybody else is out.
Yeah, maybe. Pete, you want to add anything?
No, I think that the VFW and American Legion are going to be working out a lot of the details. So it's kind of good that they're kind of taking the lead on it. Looks like a really good program. Mary and I talked about this. It was kind of funny. We were just talking about it, and we were wondering how these other towns got these banners, and then we were approached by Mr. DiStefano. So it was good timing. So I think it's a great program. It's real simple. When people want to purchase the banners, there's a website they can go on, and they're just trying to work out some of the details, like vetting the people that are going to be, it's I don't want to just, let's put Mary up there, put a, army hat on her, we'll make sure that it's someone who served in the military, and, so they'll be handling all that stuff. So I think it's good. Another thing that's probably what the details is, we're discussing, some towns are discussing, do they keep them up all year round? Do they, take them down, which is, you got to take them down and put them all back up, every year, which is, who's going to do that? So those are just some details that they have to work out. We have to work out.
I've already had one individual contact my office to say that they're already contacted Gail and they're purchasing a flag. So,
Yeah, I'm sure they'll sell plenty. They'll get
Oh, yeah,
plenty
they'll
of
get a
people
lot.
interested in that.
Yeah.
Is this only for Patterson veterans? Or can a family member, have a
So
family
again,
member?
we kind of left that up to the VFW and American Legion to work out the details and get back to us about who would be eligible to be put up on the flags.
And I think they were gonna try to keep the Putnam Lake veterans in the Putnam Lake area, their flags in the Put Lake area. And the Patterson Hamlet residents in the Hamlet, but I can't imagine, I'm sure it's gonna be just between the two posts, they're probably gonna have enough, probably not even have to advertise between the two posts. I mean, we only have so many poles too, I mean, we can go all the way to 84, maybe have them up 84 or something, but there's only so many poles,
Yeah.
Well, we could take them down Fairfield and up Haviland, so we're probably gonna have enough poles. They may extend quite a ways.
But to open it up to just anybody, I think if they really want just the residents of the town.
Is Andy originally from Carmel? Because he mentioned his banner was up over by ShopRite in Carmel, and I was wondering.
It's actually up in Kent.
Yeah, it's by the bagel place.
Oh, I thought he said it was by ShopRite.
It's before ShopRite. The used to be Carmel Bagel. Now
Uh-huh.
it's whatever.
Is that Carmel?
Is it?
I thought I saw it up down by 311. There's a decent follow down by 311.
His is by the bagel place.
Okay.
It used to be Carmel Bagel. I think he that was the original set of things. So I think
Oh,
he
okay.
didn't know that
Yes.
it would come up in Patterson. So
Oh, I see.
Great initiative, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
yeah,
What I was curious about, I think we were talking about this on some of the roads. If it's a 40, 45 mile an hour road, you can't read them when you drive by. So I like the idea. I think initially they were talking about some specific areas here and over in Putt Lake where it's a little bit, 30 mile an hour zones. So
I think they're
slower.
on John Simpson, and it's like
That's the ones I was referring to. I
Yeah.
couldn't read them.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah, too fast.
yeah. I agree.
I guess you don't want people slowing down just to read it, aren't thinking
Yeah.
have
Or
somebody
looking
hit
at
from
them while
behind,
they're driving.
But what a great initiative.
Yeah.
Okay, any board member have any other business they wish to bring up at this time?
I have a couple questions. Where are we at with the EMS building? You
You
sent
saw the
out,
survey? You saw the
Yeah.
layout? Any comments on it?
no, I mean,
Okay.
what's the next step?
The next step is I need to reach out to DEC and DEP and set up a meeting to make sure they're okay with the layout.
We have a timetable on that?
Nope.
What's dependent on the timing?
My schedule with everything that's going on.
It's been 3 years.
Yeah, I know it's been 3 years, and a lot of that was held up by DASNY, which, oh, by the way, is now asking for more information on the damn thing. So,
And then it was Renia. And then it was-
Yeah. All right.
Next, over a year ago, we took down all the historical signs around town because they were falling apart and unreadable. I think last year in our work session, we talked about reaching out possibly to the Historical Society to see if they wanted to take on the project to replace them or do something. Where are we at with that?
So I haven't had a chance to follow up with them, but we did do that. And I've had a couple of meetings with Charlie and the Historical Society. I don't know if you have any more information on that. But in December, I had, expressed to the Historical Society that I'd really like to see this all wrapped up in the spring.
And one last thing is, back in November, December, we had a bunch of board vacancies. We didn't have a chance to do interviews for.
Correct.
Do we still have what
We
board?
still have 3 people probably that we should be interviewing. Which boards?
Yeah,
We have nobody on the ethics board right now, and I believe we still have 1 or 2 people on the BAR and 2 on the BAR, 1 on Putnam Lake Park Advisory Board, and 1 on Veterans Park Advisory Board, I believe.
so should we be doing interviews soon, or?
That would be great. When would you like to meet?
I don't know, we kept sending out dates when we're available throughout December, so.
None of the dates worked out, and then we ran right into the increase in COVID, and everybody was not comfortable, so I'll be happy to send some more dates out, try to get something scheduled.
Yeah, great. Should we send something else out, like with vacancies are still open, or because do we have enough applicants to fill the vacancies?
No, we don't. I'm working on one for the BAR right now. I'm hoping she's gonna submit a letter soon. Real estate, so she's very qualified. And then we've got 2 or 3 others.
Okay.
I can send you the resumes if you want to take a look at them. I think you all got them, but I can send them again.
Good.
Anything else?
No, that's all. Thanks.
Okay. Public recognition. Anybody have from the public here in our audience have anything they wish to address the board on?
Yes, thank you. George Disbrow, from Patterson resident, also a trustee on the board of the library. Just wanted to share 3 quick things. The first one is the library is offering free tax help.
Camera.
I wanted to share this. We've already discussed it with Paul, so he knows. Okay. And residents can call the library to set up an appointment, or they can dial 211, which connects them with the United Way, Greater New York United Way, and they will then set up the appointment. So this is something residents can start doing now. So we're very pleased to be able to offer that again. The second thing, you know that we have a museum passes. We have a number of museum passes. Well, we're very pleased to say that we've added 2 new ones. One I find particularly exciting is called the New York State Empire Pass, which gives you unlimited vehicle entry into New York State parks and Department of Environmental Conservation parks. So forest, trails, and beaches. So that's one that's available. The other one is the Ever Wonder Children's Museum in Newtown, Connecticut. So this brings us to probably having about 15, 16 museum passes that residents can just come in, request them if they're available, if somebody hasn't grabbed them, and use them. So it's a very nice thing. The third and final thing is I just wanted to mention, thank you to Supervisor Williams. Our library director, Stephanie Harrison, will be coming in the second meeting in February. I believe it's the 23rd, who's going to share with you the results from the Turning Outward survey that she had discussed with you a number of months ago about feedback from the community, not necessarily for the library, but how it impacts our community, Patterson. So I thank you, Supervisor Williams, for allowing that, and she will be here for that. Thank you.
Always welcome, George. She's always welcome. Russ? You all good? All right, we'll turn to our public who is joining us by Zoom. If anybody wishes to unmute and address any questions to the board, just please give your name and your address.
There's somebody there, they're not on mute.
All right. Take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.